Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here representing Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness, and today I thought I would chat with you guys a little bit about one of the most controversial and common topics right now, seed oils. But a quick reminder, if you guys will please click like down below, be greatly appreciated. If you're not subscribed or following, please do so, and if you'll be kind enough to drop me a comment down below, I'd appreciate it so much. All right, let's get over to this topic, and I have to put the disclaimer of but they are empty calories, because every time you bring this topic up, all the anti-seed oil people who are really, it's such a weird take, right? It is a completely weird, almost socio-political take, not in any way related to evidence or human biology. This whole seed oils do this or that. It's like you have no evidence of it, and it's not like the studies haven't been funded to check. But doesn't mean I'm promoting them. And I think there's the point people miss, when these topics come up. It's like someone getting up, and to give an example for context where people say I'm promoting it per se without discussing the negatives. It would be like someone getting up and saying rat poison causes allergic reactions. And you're like, well, no, there's no evidence. And you go, you can't find a single study anywhere of any human being allergic to rat poison, not a single diagnosed case, and then telling people they're basically being stupid. They're making up nonsense. It doesn't mean you're telling people to eat rat poison. You're just telling them you're not going to have an allergic reaction, probably to the rat poison if there's never been a single documented case anywhere in the world. And they're like, well, my friend ate it and died. Like, okay, but that's not an allergic reaction. He was poisoned to death. To understand the difference, having a negative reaction to something doesn't make it inflammatory. Because you get this, and bring this up with seed oil, and people say, well, it gave me diarrhea. To me, that sounds like inflammation. Like, that is objectively not inflammation. That's called diarrhea. Squirting liquid poop out of your backside is not inflammation. It's very unpleasant. It's not good. It's a pretty bad effect. It's a pretty bad side effect. I think we all agree. It's not desirable. It's not something we want. I would say, hey, you probably should be very leery of the food that gave you explosive diarrhea. But it didn't cause inflammation. That's not inflammation. Makes sense? So can people grasp that? I mean, the same thing. It's just like saying, well, I don't want to accidentally cut my leg off because it might cause some inflammation. Like, it's not really the concern. So quit using inflammation in this manner because it's ignorant. And the problem is, here's where it's a problem. And then I'm going to get into the real issue with the seed oils. The people who are often anti-seed oil want to replace it with things for the same garbage. Like they're still eating the same garbage type foods, right? They want to replace it with foods that do cause inflammation. Okay. So this is why this is such a mind-numbing conversation that people have. They want to take the seed oil, which, believe me, I'm not telling you to eat it. It can contribute to obesity real quickly if you're not careful, right? Especially because think of the foods that it's added to and what's done with it. You're adding empty, hyperpalatable fat calories. This is not a good thing if you don't want to be fat, okay? And we can all agree obesity is a number one killer in the West, okay? But the problem is people then and they use the inflammation excuse. Well, it doesn't cause inflammation. Let's just be honest. Not only do you not have evidence, we have evidence of the exact opposite. Actually seems to, in most cases, slightly reduce it. Okay? I mean, it makes sense biologically. It's polyunsaturated fats. They have a great track record of doing this repeatedly over and over and over and over and over in humans. Not rats, by the way, but humans. So it kind of makes sense that even a damaged, refined form of it it's still a polyunsaturated fat. You're still going to get some mild anti-inflammatory effects. It's just the nature of the fats. Now, the problem is that people want to replace it with stuff that actually does cause inflammation. And that's the irony. Okay? That's the irony of it, is that they're literally making up the inflammation thing and then downplaying the fact that the foods they want to replace it with, butter, beef tallow, stuff like that, right? These fairly refined, concentrated saturated fats, absolutely 100% cause inflammation. Like, this isn't even in question. This is why this is a silly conversation that people are having. Now, and they also cause the same fat gain. Like you're still going to get fat from this. Quit eating French fries. Okay, let's come over to the point. So, let's be realistic here. If you don't want to be fat and have all sorts of problems in your body, maybe you should stop frying your foods in fats and oils. Maybe you should quit adding extra fats to all your stuff that you don't need. Maybe your fats should come from whole foods, right? Avocados, nuts, seeds, even to some extent eggs and red meat. But again, keep the saturated fat moderated, dependent upon the source, and don't eat any refined ones, right? Things like butter, coconut oil, beef tallow. This is garbage, right? Bacon, this is garbage, But a little bit of steak, bit of sirloin every day is certainly not going to hurt you, right? I think we all understand this, right? Hopefully everyone's on board there. If you look at data, no one's blaming leaner cuts of red meat are not causing problems. No one thinks they are. The really fatty cuts are. The concentrated fat is. But let's come over to the other problem. So where are seed oils a problem? Well, they can add hyperpalatability. Their fat calories. What do we store? We don't store carbohydrates as fat to a significant degree as humans. We don't store protein ever. We store dietary fat as body fat. Seed oils are adding potential hyperpalatable fat calories, and particularly the way they're cooked in. Think about the foods they're mixed with. It's not even the seed oils directly, it's the fact that they're adding extra fat calories to hyperpalatable foods or making them more hyperpalatable. I mean, French fries. My God, how easy is it to overeat? That's extremely hyperpalatable. And I don't care whether you're frying it in beef tallow or seed oil. That is some fattening, crazy fattening food. You're going to overeat it. It's loaded full of fat calories, and all the fat's in liquid form. So it's, again, just super calorie dense, easy to overeat. All these, so what else are they eating? All the seed oils too, all these refined foods, all this garbage on the shelf, all these pastries, cakes, all this nonsense, this garbage you shouldn't be eating. You're adding extra fat calories, generally with refined carbohydrate sources. That's a really bad combination. Okay? Right? Let's step back. Adding fats, and I don't care whether it's seed oils, butter, all this nonsense. You are adding additional fat calories to refined carbohydrates and refined sugar. That is an absolute recipe for disaster. That is a recipe for let's get fat, let's get cancer, diabetes, and heart attacks, right? That's how you get there. That's how you achieve it. If you want to reach those goals, that's the sort of foods you would want to eat. You want to make them available to everybody. So the problem is not even the seed oils themselves. It's the fact that they are adding palatability and extra fat calories to a bunch of refined carbs. Well, this is an issue, and all the other animal fats are going to do the same thing if you add them.